Welcome to Bold Talk series where creativity, leadership, ideas, innovation come together. My name is Epi Ludvik, and today I have a privilege to have a short one-on-one conversation with Mike Petrella, Managing Director and Strategic Partnerships at Kinective Media at United Airlines. Mike, great seeing you. Welcome to our Bold Talk series. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for the opportunity.
Well, great having you. You have an amazing journey from being one of the early team members at advertising.com to leading strategic partnership at United Airlines. Can you take us through some of the key chapters in that journey and what inspired your transition from advertising technology sector to the aviation sector?
Sure. Um, I got lucky, if I'm being completely honest. I was a British literature major in college with a music minor, and that is a quick way to live in your parents' basement for a long time. And a friend of mine was starting a company with his brother, and he came to me and said, "You seem to be one of the responsible ones in our friend group. Come work with my brother and I." And from the very beginning, my father instilled a very, very basic principle. If you're going to do something, do it well or don't do it at all. And it took years to actually take that principle and put it into practice. But as I took college more seriously, I understood that really, my actions would dictate the future, future success of my life or failure. And for me, it was the opportunity to go into something brand new, go into something I knew very little about, and really to prove myself to myself, but to my friends as well. When you're working with friends, the last thing you want to do is disappoint them. And we entered this space at a time where the internet was really just becoming a commerce or vehicle. You had rules from print media dictating advertising, and we had a concept that you could speak individually, on a one-to-one basis from the internet. So for that, it was an opportunity to say, okay, we're in a great spot. Let's take let's take a chance and build a company around that interaction. And I led the publisher services group, which was the opportunity to go and essentially acquire inventory for our advertising network. And really, it was that's where I realized like one of my superpowers. My corporate superpower is that ability to build strong partnerships. I say that internally and externally. And I found that there's the user psychology. Put yourself in someone else's shoes, understand what they want, and a partnership is very similar, right? You have to build things that are mutually beneficial. And I really began to do that and saw success in what I was doing. Right, I was one of the top salespeople in the company on the publisher side every single month. Um, and when you get that little inkling of success, you really want to get more and more and more. And as I began to mature in my career, I understood that what we were doing was great, but it needed more help. And in the programmatic age, you had to go and acquire data. You had a significant amount of data. And so, how could I leverage that data to influence behaviors? And so, I left the sales organization and went to operations and analytics and built an analytics and operations organization in support of the publisher side. 10 years of experience there came with acquisitions by AOL, acquisitions of other company, being acquired by Verizon as well, and integration of other companies. And again, leveraging those superpowers of just building those partnerships, those networks. I joked that at AOL and what was the last name of it was Yahoo, I survived 23 of 24 layoffs. And you don't do that easily in the sense of, without understanding how to become part of the team, how to think about the greater good, how to build these partnerships. And I probably had 10 to 15 bosses over that 23-year time. And in each time, it was a matter of how can I help? How can I support? And then, doing what I say I was going to do. Um,
Yeah.
that mentality was building, right? It was all about building. I love building things. I love controlled chaos. It doesn't bother me when, the proverbial house is on fire because it's just a matter of taking a step back and be very pragmatic in your approach, right? Get step one done, get step two done, build that foundation. The more solid the foundation, the higher you can build versus a house of cards. If the wind blows hard enough, it's done. So the opportunity to join United came when I received a call that they were going to be building a secretive commerce media network, right? It wasn't public at that point. And for me, it was I get to build again. I get to leverage the 23 years of experience I had in the programmatic world to bring those insights and have a very large voice to build the foundation of a business. That's what I did. Came in. I didn't know my boss. We were introduced through a mutual friend. I positioned myself as someone who's here to help, here to support, here to build. He looked at my resume and my references and had confidence in what I was going to do. And I marched in and I did just that, right? I helped build the foundation of Kinective Media. And since then, my role's expanded to lead strategic partnerships across Mileage Plus and into United. Again, new space, new building requires a significant amount of partnership, relationship building, and learning every single day. Right? Every day is a lesson. Some lessons are more difficult than others, but so far so good.
Very well said. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it's incredible to see. But you see that your father honing on that, making things great or don't do it at all, is what really stuck with you in that journey. And that's where, after all those times where the company was getting rid of people, you were still there because you were able to show that you got something that the others don't have. And that's truly amazing to see that in someone. And
It's a
that's
good
why
layoff
I
ratio.
always go with one of my mentors said the best investment you can do it the investment in yourself. And this is
Yes,
a truly a way to look at how you can grow yourself by truly being disciplined and making things uh, being different. So that's what made you here. Now, when you reflect in your career, Mike, what pivotal moments or decisions have significantly influenced your professional path and leadership style?
I always try and look at every opportunity as a way to learn. We one of the earliest learning opportunities I had is we were working with a company called MySpace a long time ago. MySpace was one of the first social media networks, and they had a plethora of inventory. Right, everyone was going there. You had people going there multiple times a day, and so in programmatic advertising, there's an inverse correlation between frequency and performance. Typically, the more times you see an ad, the worse it will perform. You really want to engage that person on the first, one or two times. And I was working with a brilliant analyst named Jeff Coe, and he came up with this idea. He said, "Well, what if we only asked them for, the first three impressions from a frequency standpoint, and we'd pay them for that?" I was like, "That's a really good idea." And I went ahead and just signed the deal without any approval from my leadership, without any approval from the analyst team. Now there was calculated, we had math to support it. It wasn't just simply like a pie in the sky idea. But instead of taking that concept and running it up the chain for approval, I went ahead and signed this deal. And when that became public within the company, I had to do a bit of defense, and it was now fortunately the deal worked, right? And it was something that was transformative in terms of how we went about supply and how we went about profit. But there's confidence and there's arrogance and there's also ignorance. And the ignorance, again, wasn't malicious in this point. It was simply, emotion and kind of moving forward. But that was a pivotal piece in terms of like that partnership. I needed my head of product to be okay with this. I needed the head of analytics to be with it. I should have had the head of sales. There were a number of folks who should have bought into the fact that we were going to take a significant step in terms of decreasing the amount of supply, but increasing the amount of profit based on a calculation.
Mm.
And those things stick with you. It's sort of like, okay, well, how do I not do that again? And I think, those pivotal moments in my career have been when those butterflies go in your stomach of sort of like, oh my gosh, I should have done this differently. Right. It's calculated failure in many a time. And, that's the first one that really reminded me of it. I mean, other moments are more around like personnel, I should say. I'm very big into culture. I'm very big into career pathing and growth. And, as a leader, the best leaders are invisible. right? If you're empowering your team to really do the best work, the results will come up. And it's the times where you feel like you failed someone or you failed an organization or you should have done things differently. And for me, those were the times where leadership becomes visible. Even if it's to myself, it's because I let my team down, right? And that's where, it's the constant reimagining of your approach, of the situation, of the potential outcomes, and more importantly, like learning from what happened.
Well, very well said. Mike at Kinective Media is pioneering personalized advertising within the airline industry. How do you envision this transforming the way brands engage with travelers throughout their journey?
I could not be more excited about what we're doing, and I know it's biased because I work; it's my job, right? And I should be excited about it. But
You're entitled to be biased, man. It's okay.
good. Um, it's all about the traveler journey and meeting the
Mm.
traveler at the right parts of that journey. And when I say journey, it's not on the plane, right? The journey for a traveler and the journey for United and really Mileage Plus loyalty is the mindset of being a Mileage Plus member. What's the value of being a Mileage Plus member? What's the value of being that loyalty program? And the journey can be just your day to day, right? Showing the utility of a mile and allowing people to earn miles or use miles for, just daily tasks, a Starbucks gift card, a Home Depot gift card. There's the inspiration, right? We've taken digital hemispheres off the plane in print edition and made it a digital entity. I'm sorry, we took hemispheres off the plane and now it's called digital hemispheres. And in doing so, it's a sustainable piece where we're no longer printing on paper, right? But B, we can publish on a daily basis. And in doing so, you can create commerce opportunities. You can create inspiration. If I know that you are an avid hiker or a surfer or a concert goer, right? There are things we can put in front of you to help with that inspiration. Going to Coachella, great. You may want to go out to LA for a couple extra days. Here's what you can do in Palm Springs. If you're an avid hiker, here's where you should be in Crested Butte. It's the mountain biking capital of the world, right? There's things that you can. It's actually the snow biking capital of the world, but neither here nor there, right? It's the idea of putting that type of opportunity in front of people to help inspire them to take the trips they want to do. And within that inspiration, it's okay, great. You also happen to be a foodie and you love Indian food. Here are 5 of the best restaurants to book. And you typically stay at a hotel and you're a Marriott Bonvoy member, Hilton Honors, or you stay at Airbnbs. These are things that are conducive to your trip. Oh, and you happen to be an Instacart member, great. Order groceries for your Airbnb. It's things like that where you can, within that inspiration, it's not just inspiring the destination, but the actual journey. Then you think about, the day of, right? I need to get to the airport. What am I doing? What's going to be easiest? Well, it'd be great if I had a rideshare partner. And within the airport, right? How do I navigate well? Our app is wonderful. Where should I go? Where's my gate? Where's my bags? How do I do this? We're reimagining the in-flight experience with Starlink empowering just the living room in the sky, right? For years, we could access everything here, and then we get stuck on a plane and have to watch cached content. Now I can stream multiple devices. As it rolls out, I'll be able to stream multiple devices on our plane. I land, great. How do I get that ride share or my rental car to wherever I may be going, right? And during the trip, I can finally see that ball game. I can see the concert I wanted to see. Like, it's all those points of that traveler journey and being able to meet the traveler with the right opportunity, the right content, or sometimes nothing at all. Sometimes you just simply, I want to sit on the plane and veg out, not talk to anyone, and completely just be myself. Right? That's what I'm excited to do. And those are the partnerships that we're building, both internally and externally.
Yeah, truly, uh, seeing it from all ends and immersing the customer in this amazing user experience with a different level of partnerships. It's incredible, incredible work. How big is your team, Mike?
13, I think, maybe. I
Wow.
have a small but mighty team. And I hate to call it my team because at the end of the day, we all play our role. Like it is the strategic partnerships organization. And we have partner managers who work with our existing partners. So think, preferred hotel partners like Marriott, Avis as our World Travel Holdings, hotels. We have a new business team that's going out and forging partnerships with both travel and non-travel related partners. And we have a data team that's working through data collaboration opportunities. So you think about your partnerships with the clean rooms, you think about supplemental data, internal partnerships. Um, we work incredibly hard to matrix across a number of organizations. So, from a new business standpoint and existing business standpoint, you have partners across the organization, be it from sponsorships, United Brand, Kinective Media, all the business units under Mileage Plus and others to understand where you create holistic value for your partner. Right? United touches nearly every person, right? Whether it's a corporate travel, right? If you're traveling for work, chances are there's a United flight somewhere in the whichever system you use. As a leisure
Yeah,
traveler, same thing, right? So um, it's upon us to really understand what the holistic value of a partnership is and bring in the relative teams to or the relevant teams I should say to help build that vision and make that vision a reality with our partners.
amazing. Um, what does the word bold mean to you, Mike?
To me, bold is something that it is attention grabbing. It is kind of shakes you at the core, not in fear, but in terms of awesomeness. Never thought I'd say awesomeness in a podcast, but now I've said it twice. Um, it's the ability to really just encapsulate someone's attention and feeling all at once and to make an impression, to make an impact.
Love it. Small and mighty, uh, and a way to think and be great. With Mike Petrella, I truly enjoyed this conversation. Always be great. Thank you for joining me in this Bold Talk series, and looking forward to have another great conversation, hopefully in the near future. Until that time, Mike, have a great one, and always be bold.
Thank you, Epi. It was my pleasure.